There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, you gumpers.
Hey, you gumpers. Hola, bon dia. How you doing? Feelgood Friday, and it's a Filomena Friday this morning. How are you doing? Bon dia, alegria. We'll be saying that just after 9 o'clock with Filomena, who'll be joining us. We love Filomena, don't we? And if you've got any questions about the language or the culture, she's the woman to answer them. Okay, so just after 9 o'clock with a fabulous slideshow from the Algarve where she was at Christmas time as well. So she's got so many things to share with us this morning, and it's going to be a lovely laid-back Friday morning as far as I'm concerned, unless somebody does some of this. Yes, vigorous, isn't it? We've got Cox from Coimbra as well, inundated by Cox from Coimbra this morning. A beautiful picture from Stockholm as well, from Anna, who I see is in the comments this morning. Loads of people here this morning. That's fantastic. Looking forward to a leisurely Friday morning, I think. We've got to do this, haven't we? Day 255 without a license exchange, right? I suppose is technically accurate there. But maybe your old one or Mrs. Duck's old one has run out as well. So that would be true. Without a license of any kind there in Lisboa, still waiting on the IMT. A little campaign that runs and runs. That and Andy's SNS number. Please help anybody. Thunder Duck or the Duck, Kaza Duck. If you can help Kaza Duck with the driving license exchange. We've got the best minds in the business on it, but we need a little bit of divine intervention. Same with Andy's SNS number, his health number. Desperate. He's going to give up beer and pork for a month if we can sort that out for him. Bon dia alegria from Senor Duck this morning. Bon dia alegria a todos os gumpers. And as well as the Cox in Coimbra and the beautiful, it was really a sunset at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Stockholm yesterday, but absolutely beautiful. And I must share it with you. We also, what else do we have? We have some consumer things coming in from Portugal, Portugal-based, homegrown memes from Portugal. The first one talking about Portuguese wine. Here we go. Look, Red Bull might give you wings, but Portuguese wine gives you 4x4. And there's a gentleman making his way home. Is this you? After I think a hard day at the cafe with a few of those little glasses of red wine. They do add up, don't they? And can put you in this condition. So whilst Red Bull can give you wings, Portuguese wine can give you the 4x4 effect. Now, where's the other consumer delight that I want to share with you? Yes. A very important part of the fashion industry, Portugal. Here is the Louis Vuitton bag, Portuguese style. There you go. I'm not sure where this is. Do you recognize? It doesn't look quite bright enough to be the Algarve. We need to find out where this shop is to see what other lines they have. But there it is. There's your Louis Vuitton Portuguese. We'll call that luggage rather than baggage, all right? Don't you often think that those fashion things come with a lot of baggage? Here, you can get luggage instead. The Louis Vuitton style, Portuguese style. There, fantastic. Taken from the internet. And it's good for some things, isn't it? Stuff like that. So who else is here this morning? Bom dia from the prof. Oh, gente, minha terra. Agora é que é percebe esta tristeza que trago foi da voz que a receba. Amalia Rodriguez, and I'm not even going to attempt a translation of that. Begins with, people of my country, doesn't it? But let's get a proper translation before I utterly destroy that. Owen, if you could send the Filomena Friday jingle in again, I can load it up just before 9 o'clock. Yes, I must have a better desktop and file storage system. Morning to you, Owen. Looking forward to you cooking live again next week on the Wednesday and this day in Portuguese history. 1659, Battle of the Lines of Elvash, sorry. It's hard not to think of Elvis when you're talking about Elvash. Between Portugal and Spain during the Portuguese Restoration. Yeah, okay, the restaurant wars. I'm not going to live that down, am I? The celebrating the Day of the Restaurant Workers and the restoration of Portugal. Both equally important things, in my view, in the culture. Thank you very much for that, Prof. Another one coming in just a moment. Oh, no, a weekend Portuguese in history, something that can't wait for the weekend, like many of us, right? Or is that true? No, we say this, don't we, from time to time? For many of you Gumpers, it's one long weekend. You don't need to look forward to the weekend anymore. You're retired and you're living in paradise. So the weekend has become fairly meaningless. Is that true for you? Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz sexta. The only day with sex in it. Sexta-feira today. Thank you, James, for that. He's famous, you know. And yes, I think I'm going to just give you a brief... well, shine the spotlights on Senor Holly there. Let me see, where's he gone in me WhatsApp? WhatsApp was busy last night. We had 2 great sessions all about buying and renting property in Portugal. The first being with Peter van Noonen of the Portugal Company. And he was on with us in the webinar, and it was a great session. Really, really great to talk to. I do love the Dutch sense of humor. Something about the Dutch sense of humor, isn't it? I love chatting with Peter about all things Portuguese renting and buying. And then in the Premium Plus, in the Expats Portugal Plan session, we spoke to Wiley. Now, Wiley's energy is incredible as well. She's fantastic, a buyer's agent in the Cascais area. And she's not a buyer's agent for anywhere else in the country. She focuses on the areas she loves. And she sells, what she said was, as I recall, she sells neighborhoods. She doesn't sell houses, which is a great way of looking at it. And she's got experience in the Portuguese, obviously the Portuguese realty industry market, as well as American and Swedish markets. And I think she's lived in Belgium as well. She's quite a globetrotter, is Wiley, and with some great ideas and views on selling houses and finding you a house to rent or buy in Portugal. So great evening last night. That's why it's always nice after a busy Thursday night to take it a little bit easier on a Friday morning. And here, look, this is James's. I think it's going to be more than 5 minutes of fame. This could stretch to 6 or 7 minutes, I think. And this is thanks to the dream maker, Terence Austin, artist who you all know, who's on from time to time. And I will be a part of the crew, of course, of the amazing Austin Brothers Studios in Algarve. And he wrote, this is from his blog. I've featured his blogs before now, and I've asked him to voice them because he's got a fantastic fruity voice as well. Why did Hollywood follow me to Portugal is the article, and I'll put this in the comments for you so you can have a read for yourself. Open it up in a new tab. Don't disappear on me. Portugal is for the stars. Look, there he is himself with his paparazzi apparatus there. And he talks about his journey to Portugal and then being copied by so many celebrities, as well as the comparisons you can see here. Look, California. I mean, we talk about this, don't we? The comparisons between Portugal and California. And he details and highlights them here. Napa Valley wines, look out, he says as well. And it finishes, look, with James Holly there, moving from Portugal to California, immortalized in a Terence Austin blog piece. That's fantastic. Thank you, Terence, for writing that, being moved to write that. And I think we'll probably go through that with a finer toothed comb at another time. All right, so this weekend in Portuguese history, let's have a look at what's being said here. Thanks, Prof, for this. The weekend in Portuguese history. Number 1, there may be more. 1920, Francisco José Fernandes Costa, PM of Portugal, for less than a day, leading the short-lived 5 Minutes government. Wow. Who resigned the same day it took office. And why was that, I wonder? Nope, sorry, don't. I mean, most kids give school longer than that, don't they? Your kids' first day at school, it was all right, but I don't think I want to go back tomorrow. But that's a whole, 6 hours or something? 5 minutes of government. Incredible. What happened there? And what happened to him afterwards? Forever known. It's kind of Fifth Beatles stuff, isn't it? Hey, aren't you that 5 minute government guy? Yes. Just give me a coffee and shut up. Rebel Mama, Midlife World Crisis Tour. Talking to you, Prof. E pessoas que esperam nas sombras. I don't wish I knew what that meant. We're hoping for what's sombras? Please help me out, somebody. And if you're going to impress me with your Portuguese, for which I do give you one of these. We haven't had these for a while, have we? Muito bom, there to you, Rebel Mama, with your Portuguese. But I don't actually know what that means there. So I would like I'd like you to go all bilingual on me, if you don't mind. Filomena, of course, here after 9 o'clock this morning. 20 minutes to go. The countdown has begun to Filomena. This weekend, again, in Portuguese history, the monarchy of the North is proclaimed in Porto. The restoration of the Portuguese monarchy lasts for about a month before being crushed by Republican forces. Oh, no. Short-lived governments, short-lived restorations of the royals. Wow. I wonder if Prince Andrew is watching. He's been stripped of his duties, isn't he? And faces prosecution as a private citizen now. A memo sent from, I'm not on the memo list from the palace for some reason, although we're still hoping for an honour. Do you really still want to be honoured, Frank? It was your hope, wasn't it? As a British subject, being Canadian. Oops. Bon dia from Darcy Knight. First time watching GMP Live. Welcome, Darcy. We're here in Setúbal and decided this will be our home to start. Well, it's a good choice. Have you seen any dolphins yet? Have you seen... Oh, what's he called? The football manager, say Mourinho. His hometown, of course, Setúbal. And have you been on the outskirts there to Azeitão? To that lovely town there where you can have a lovely glass of wine and some runny cheese. Darcy, good choice and welcome. Thank you for tuning in live to the GMP. You're a gumper for sure. Anna Olsen is here. Look, bon dia a todos from a sunny Stockholm. Enjoy it while it lasts, because I think you've got maybe 7 hours of that, 6 hours up until the sunset at about 3. And of course, I'm thinking to myself, why would anyone do that to themselves? Why would you go to the north of Europe just to have half an hour of sunlight a day? Well, this is possibly why. Look at that. Let me just take your comment off for a moment, Anna. And we can see Stockholm there. And let me just read the message you sent to me as well. Where are you? My goodness, we do get a lot of mail, and I'm not complaining. I'm staggered and delighted. It just makes it a little bit difficult to find things sometimes. Botar, tonight's sunset over Stockholm was absolutely stunning, as we can see on the screen there. Nature at its best. Greetings from Anna. Thank you so much for that, Anna. And I think we should dwell on that for a moment, because you won't be able to see me having a little sip of my tea. Oh, that's nice. But isn't that beautiful? Lovely. Stockholm and nature, the throbbing metropolis, clearly, that is Stockholm, set against these beautiful colours of nature in the background. And forgive me, Stockholm is on the Stockholm by the sea. Is it a seaport? And is that seawater, or is that a vast river in Stockholm? Please educate me. Others probably know these sorts of things, don't they? And we're used to me exposing my ignorance, I think, every single day here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Cox in Coimbra to come. Thank you to Jim for those who's having a little bit of a nosy around Coimbra and really enjoying it at the moment. But let's see who else is here and what you got to say for yourselves this morning. From Cape Town this morning, Francis, good to see more of you. Bon dia alegria. Hope you're all good. Sunny and toasty in Cape Town. And a welcome to Darcy Knight from Rebel Mama as well. And the OLP in the house. Bon dia to you all, gumpers. And hit the like button, people, is Rebel Mama's command this morning. Hit the like button, people. 3 likes, 16 people waiting. And if it's a ruse to get me to start on time, hitting the like button, I guess that could work. But still, I don't see it. What I have in front of me is 1 like at the moment. And again, I'm not complaining. I'm all for people subscribing, liking, and commenting. But I don't get to see the effect of it here. Maybe it's a reward later. A little bit like Catholicism. I adore this supportive community, says Darcy Knight. Obrigada a todos. Well, you're most welcome, and you're part of it, Darcy. So glad for that feedback. And yeah, make yourself at home. Bon dia from Victoria as well. You're going to love the Algarve slideshow, Victoria, that Filomena will share with us a little bit later on. Good morning to you, Victoria. Any Algarvian plans? Perhaps we should have a very quick look at the weather as well, so that you know what's ahead of you, and whether my predictions for great weather this weekend are coming true or not. So if we have time, we'll come back to that. And hi, Carl from the OLP to me. Good morning to you. Baldylocks as well. Good morning, all. How are you, Baldylocks? And Sam Wells. Hola, bon dia from Sam. Abu's here. And I hit it, Rebel Mama. It just sounds like they're in a band, doesn't it? Hit it, Rebel Mama. Take it away. I think Rebel Mama would be a front woman of a band with her sort of new wave 80s reverberations there. I think you'd make a fine front woman, Rebel Mama. Do you play an instrument, and where do you find yourself on the stage when you do? Bon dia, Carl y todos from Abu, and from Mark as well, and from Elaine. Thanks, Mark, for being on the webinar last night. I saw you there, mate. And Elaine is here. Morning, Carl Munson. Very formal. And there are no letters to add after my name yet. Happy, may well stay that way. Happy Friday, y'all, from Rafael de Furia. This not your average globetrotter this morning. And a Rebel Mama right back at you. Loved your sunset. Oh, yeah, you enjoyed my sunset as well. I couldn't not share that with you. Out with the kids yesterday afternoon in the bay. Drove up. I took them first. Actually, I've got pictures of. I'll share those with you on Monday. That should help ease the Monday mood. We went up to the viewing point in San Martino de Porto last night, and the kids really thrived on it, being on top of the world and looking through the telescope. It was a lovely thing to do. And on the way home, we'll go back up there and we'll have a look at the sunset, and I'll get my phone charged up again, and we'll see if we can capture a sunset. And we did. So that's on the YouTube channel. If you want to see a Silver Coast sunset, managed to capture it pretty well, right down to the last minute, in that last little sliver of sun. Oh, did you hear that? Disappears below the horizon. It was really, really good, even if I say so myself. Might take a tripod next time, a bit shaky. And Suze is here, morning, and gave us a standing O at the end of yesterday's. That was a very, very good conversation, wasn't it, with Hank and Connie? Looking forward to welcoming them back. And I know you particularly enjoyed that. Suze, you gave it the Top Gong award and recognition and acknowledgement yesterday. Bon dia alegrias todos to New Jersey this morning from Jean. How you doing, Jean? And EI helped us get our SNS number. It only took a few days. Oh, okay. So maybe EI can help you, Andy. And let's see what happens. Maybe Andy can find a way of getting you help with your driving license swap there. Thank you for that, Kazaduck, a message from Kazaduck there. Bon dia, how's it, Gumpers, from Pippa in Botswana. Looking forward to Poets Day. You thought it might have been a literary thing? No. Push off early. Tomorrow is Saturday. I'd never heard that before, but that'll do. My day's a bit like that, actually. I do think to myself, okay, it's Friday afternoon. But actually, no, a meeting with the accountant this afternoon. But it's a trip out. It's a trip out to central Portugal this afternoon. But that's great. Poets Day. Enjoy it, everybody. I had an email. Oh, if anyone wants to elaborate on that with a limerick or a haiku, go ahead. Elaine Godley, I had an email from IMT that I have to start over again with my license exchange. So maybe we need a little bit of an expats union association to push a little bit with these things. I do think it would be a great idea to have an expats association. I really do. And I don't think Expats Portugal should initiate it because it's, we're a company. And we would obviously be seen to be, whether what we did or not, we would probably be seen to be having undue influence over an independent body of people. But I would join it as an individual, certainly. An expats association, how about that? Because there's quite a few of us, and I think it would be a blessing for everyone concerned if these processes were eased, would it not? This against the backdrop of a proposed points system for immigration into Portugal. Don't get too alarmed. It's one of those things where it's just all talk at the moment from a political party. That's not to say that it won't happen at some point, but there's some serious exchanges on the forum about it, and understandably so. Points system immigration is one of those button pushes, isn't it? Don't worry, I'm not going to do the trigger alert thing just now, not yet anyway. But over on the forum, a lot of talk about the points system. And I think it's all part of, it will evolve, won't it? With so many more people wanting to come to Portugal, things will need to change, won't they? I mean, I don't mean to make it more difficult. I just mean against, when you're up against these sorts of IMT and SNS number things and CEF and so on, it would be great, wouldn't it, to make those systems float a little, spray a little bit of WD-40 on it, take away the duct tape and cable ties that are currently holding it together and get some WD-40 on the situation. 4x4 all-terrain mode. I think Raphael liking that picture. Let's put that back up for people who've just arrived. There we go. It's great, isn't it? 4x4 all-terrain mode there, heading home. Hopefully home and not to the pub. I think you've had enough, sir. Who here has had that said to them? Perhaps you've had enough, sir. It's Ponta de Barça up here, 30 minutes from me. What, really? That shop where you can get the Louis Vuitton bag. Excellent. Ponta de Barça, so just 30 minutes from Rebel Mama up there, where you can get your Louis Vuitton haute couture lines there. Superb. Thank you for that, for recognizing that. Love that Louis Vuitton photo. It's a classic Portuguese meme from a time before memes were called memes. Absolutely. Excuse me, you're making me laugh. It's an oldie but goodie, presumably then. Hola, bon dia, alegria, todos de Pombal. And you'll be surprised to hear this, Matty. But Mrs. M hid those lovely marzipan biscuits that you brought us, and we were enjoying them late last night. And I've had a little nibble this morning too. So thanks again for those. And I've never had anything like it in my life, the German sort of marzipan-y soft biscuit. And I was looking at it and thinking to myself, it looks like a mushroom from a Santa's grotto. Not that I've ever tasted a mushroom in a Santa's grotto. I wouldn't recommend that. You could wake up miles away from where you started with no trousers on, with that sort of thing. I think that sort of thing happens to people when they don't identify their mushrooms correctly. It's not a mushroom. It's a German confection. Delicious too. And thanks to Mrs. M for hiding them away from the kids so that we got a little nibble on those last night and a little bit more this morning. To Darcy from Abu, bon dia, bem-vindo a Portugal. Very good, Abu. It's coming together, mate. And I got my booster yesterday. Yay. 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 Can you raise your arm where you had the booster, Suze? How are you feeling this morning? And morning all, got to run. Okay, yeah. Because no, it's not. It's the health number you haven't got, not the driving license. I thought you had to run for the bus because you hadn't got a driving license either there for a moment. Not rubbing it in, Thunder. Morning all from Elra. Elra's back with us, well and truly. And I sort of felt bad after mine for a few days. Nothing with the first 2 shots. So hopefully same for you. Nothing too bad. Mild soreness at the jab location only. What, in the health centre? The most used incomplete math equation on vehicles. Sheesh. The answer is always 16. What? I don't understand. Oh, 4x4. I've got you. He wants to finish the 4x4 every time he hears it by the sound of it. A little insight into the mind of James Holly there. Bon dia, Malta. I love that, being called Malta, folks, peeps, right? Isn't that great? Thank you very much. Oh, Filomena's here already, limbering up and enjoying the caffeinata in the virtual green room. And jingle sent. So let's play it now, shall we? I think maybe even Filomena sent it as well. But this is to come, folks.
Filomena Friday. Filomena Friday.
Oh, I've turned it off. I've gone to Filomena's WhatsApp as well.
Filomena Friday.
Okay, I will download it this time just to make sure we've definitely got that for the future, because it's beautiful, isn't it? A beautiful sunrise this morning in Hertfordshire, but very fresh. We'll show that in a moment from Blighty. And the dogs are ready to go and enjoy the sun. Oh, lovely. So let's do the cocks next to the pooches. No pussies this morning and no pests as yet. Pippa's in, so she might send us a scary picture of a pest from Botswana. But let's pop these two up and have a look at those cocks in Coimbra from Jim. Let's start with those, in fact. What a fine array, Jim, in a window in Coimbra. The Barcelos cockerel, of course. We must tell that story again soon, mustn't we? It's a good one. And a very important part of Portuguese folklore. Here's another one. I think with our iconography, seeing it every morning, it must be a delight to. I mean, my kids do actually. My kids point to the Barcelos cockerels in souvenir shops and say, "It's you." And there's another one in green. That's great as well, isn't it? A nice one. That's a very elegant Barcelos cockerel there. Here's the crispy winter morning over there in Hertfordshire. Thanks to the coach for that, Coach Turner. And the dogs are indeed ready to go out. There, Matty, who will soon have a long leather coat and a hound at the end of each arm as he motors his way through the forests of Pombal. Looking good, very well behaved pair of pooches there. I think they're a bit too big to be called pooches, really, aren't they? And let's go back to the comments then before we get to 9 o'clock and talk to Filomena. Actually, no, there's no point making Filomena wait, is there? Why would we do that? That's rude. Let's bring her onto the screen now. Good morning to you. Hola, bon dia, alegria.
Olá, bom dia, alegria.
Oh, Filomena, so good to have you here. How are you doing? How you been?
Estou bem, obrigada.
Oh, and you had I can't do this in the past tense. I'm guessing you did have a Feliz Natal, and I do wish you officially, as I'm sure many people do here, Feliz Ano Novo, obviously.
Obrigada igualmente.
Oh yeah, and here we are, your first session of the new year, and we're going to have a little bit of a look at grammar, aren't we? And we're going to talk about capitalization, because that throws me, whether bon Dieu should have a capital D or not, as well as other things of that kind. But we do have a slideshow from you from the Algarve, because you spent a few days in the Algarve around Christmas time.
Yes, I have spent. I usually go to the Algarve in winter, not in summer. I prefer it in winter because it's a lot less tourists there. So so I went from Christmas to New Year, more or less. So I spent about 9 days there. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. And is that a yearly thing then?
Sorry?
Do you go every year?
Usually, yes. Usually, yes. I usually go every year. Yes.
And you pretty much have it to yourself, don't you, with a few of the other sort of Algarvians there who are all year. But what a great time to go. And the best of the Portuguese weather at that time of year, I would have thought.
Yes, I usually go between December until May or so at the most. So sometimes I go in February or April, but not later than that usually, because then it's too crowded for me.
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to have to think of a plan. I'm living on the Silver Coast. It'll be quite similar. I think we'll probably go somewhere else. Maybe go to northern Portugal in July and let people get on with it.
Yeah, to the inner part of the country. Yes.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a plan. I will copy you with that excellent idea. So let's see. Let's carry on with our comments until we get into the grammar and the vocabulary and anything else you want to know about Portuguese language and culture, as well as your lovely slideshow from.
We are waiting. We are waiting for the questions.
Yeah, waiting for those questions, and we made the announcement yesterday, accompanied by your wonderful video of those. Crazy individuals swimming on New Year's Day. What was that like? I bet their nipples were quite erect.
Yeah, that is already a tradition in Monte Gordo.
Yes.
The Dutch. There is always a group of Dutch every year on the 1st of January at 1 o'clock. It's every year. It's every year the same. Well, every year at 1 o'clock, the 1st of January. The Dutch get together in Monte Gordo, in the Algarve, in Monte Gordo, so near the border, near the Spanish border. So at 1 o'clock, they go in the water. And then, because they are sponsored by Unox, then they get a bowl of soup, because that is a Dutch brand for soup and sausages. So they get... They get a bowl of soup when they get out from the water.
That's amazing. I would never have guessed that event was sponsored by. It sounds like eunuchs.
Yeah, eunuchs. Yeah, I don't know, but it's
by eunuchs. It's enough to make. I mean, it's quite shrivelly kind of conditions, isn't it? So that makes sense in some way. But so a Dutch soup and sausage producer sponsors the event. That's hilarious.
Yes.
The more you think about it, the more sense it makes.
Well, when I am very often I'm in Monte Gordo on the 1st of January, and so it's the only event. It's the event of the year to go and see the Dutch on the first sea bath.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Does Monte Gordo translate as Fat Mountain as well?
Yes, yes, it does.
It sounds to me like a jazz club. You could open up an underground, like really cool jazz bar called Fat Mountain, couldn't you? Like PAT, come to Fat Mountain for a great show. Well,
Monte Gordo is still a very traditional fisherman, small town. So it's very, very peaceful. Nothing happens, and so this event is the highlight, right? So,
and did they make quite a lot of noise as they were going in? As
Yes, they start counting. They start counting in Dutch, but they start counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then they set off. And yes, it's always a lot of
I
fun.
think, and the Northern Europeans seem to have been ahead of this Wim Hof thing of going swimming in cold water. Because I remember I've got a childhood memory of being on a campsite as a kid, and some Germans or Dutch people being there and having cold showers. I don't think they needed to, but they did it anyway, and I could just hear them shrieking every morning as they had a cold shower, sort of waking themselves up. You know, as if camping wasn't enough to entertain your senses and keep you on the edge. They were straight in for a cold shower every morning as well. Way ahead of that particular curve. Deagle's here this morning, Filomena. Bon dia, Carl. Still dark mornings in Belfast. Afternoon stretching almost to 5 p.m. now, and 15 minutes yesterday. So can I have muito bem on Friday? You can have it live. Look at that. Hold on a minute. We'll zoom in.
Bem.
Can we do that again?
Muito bem, muito
Oh,
bem.
look at that. You could segment that from the recording and play that to you. Play that to yourself, just to keep your enthusiasm up for learning the language there, Deagle. Bon dia todos from Antonio F as well, who often tunes in on the Linguistic and Cultural Fridays with Filomena. I woke up late, said Matty, need to walk the dogs now. YouTubing later. So we'll see you later. We have a message for you now, whatever time you're watching this, Matty. Hope you enjoyed the dog walk. Having been born and lived in California most of my life, I have to say, I don't get the Portugal, California reference at all. Oh, okay. All right. Maybe read the article. And yes, let me make sure that the, I don't know if I did this before. If I didn't, I'm going to do it again now. Comparison, Portugal, California. And there was an article. I'm still trying to find it. The San Francisco Bay News making that comparison as well, calling Portugal the new California. I think I'd love to see that article. How about that for a minute? Laura P as well in the Algarve. Bon dia, Todos. Still windy in Albufeira, but bright and sunny. Lay off the feijoada. Susan Derringer, bon dia, just woke up 3:30 here. Love to you all who are up at crazy o'clock, tuned in. Really appreciate it. Trying to stay awake to enjoy the show. We'll do our best to keep you entertained and awake. Coach Turner, it's a beautiful day this morning. We've seen your pick, Coach Turner, and looking forward to a walk and a coffee. Think I'll be joining you next Friday and have a few thoughts to share. Fantastic. We'll see you on your next appearance, Coach Turner. No politics. It's very hard for British people not to talk about politics at the moment. And Antonio loving the stunning Stockholm picture alongside Deagle there. And Kate's here as well. Bon dia, Carl and all. Good morning to you, Kate, and OLP welcoming Darcy. Filomena, first question then. Help, please. Is that the question? D-A-R.
Dar means to give.
Okay.
Dar is to give. But I don't know what the question is.
Is that like saying gimme? You know, in the way that people say eager, you say like tell me. Would
yes.
dar
Yes, you can say please give me that cake, for example, right? Actually today, as I told you before, I was about to speak about the personal pronouns, but okay, let's forget about the grammar names, but it's me and you and him and her and us, perfect. Them, yep. And things like that. So, for example, the verb dar is a good example to say give me or give him. Or so, for example, if you are asking at the pastry shop, you are asking,
always
of course, Portugal. Always what else? Pastry shop. So you can say, please, could you give me this cake, please? So you can say, podia dar-me este bolo, por favor? So dar-me, exactly like give me in English, right? So that is very, very straightforward because it's me, M-E, just exactly like me in English. So dar-me. But when we get to give him or give her, then then it's something else, right? I don't know if you want me to start with the grammar part, or I don't know. Maybe Rebel Mama wants to make a specific question about that. I don't know.
Yes.
What is the question with dar?
Well, we'll come back. So let's come back. Let's see if Rebel Mama can elaborate on that. It is. I know it's a bit rude, a bit like. It's sometimes diga is just very, very sort of straightforward, isn't it? Dara. Is that
no,
like
dar? You would say dim. If you want to say give me, you could say dim. Dim. I can write it for you.
Okay, as in give me. Mir,
dim, of course, dim por favor, right? You can say
yes, of course,
dim.
Absolutely. Yes, be polite, everybody. Doesn't cost anything.
Dim por favor, give me please something, right?
That's good to know, isn't it? But you probably you'd approach it in a shop. Back to the pasteleria padaria again. It would be more of a career, wouldn't it, rather than a.
Yes, you could say queria aquele bolo, por favor, or queria este bolo, por favor.
So DM is a little bit more colloquial and at home with people rather than out and about.
No, actually, dim is the formal way, because there is also dame.
Yeah.
Dame is the informal form of the verb.
Okay.
Dim is formal. I mean, formal in that sense of the difference between tu and você, right? So dim is when you speak to someone you don't know. Dame is when you speak to a friend. So give me, and that means give me.
Okay, fabulosa Filomena.
Obrigada.
We'll go with that, absolutely. And Filomena Friday, people singing along at home. And
well, no songs today, no songs. So let's have a break from the songs, right?
That'll be a big relief for some people. Not to have me singing this morning. Hola, bon dia, jazz punk, faixa do dia, Tina Marie's. It must be magic, just like Portugal. 13 days and counting. See you soon, Chris. And from Australia this morning, Michelle's in. Hola. She's gone very meditative. It's an hola dia there. Carl and everyone. Nothing wrong with that. And that was a beautiful sunset, very relaxing. I don't know if you managed to see it, but look at this. This is what Stockholm looks like at just about 3 in the afternoon, Filomena. Isn't that fantastic?
Lovely colors. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, real beauty there. And Rebel Mama, what's the question about Dar? Yeah, come on, you're keeping us on the edge of our seat, Rebel Mama. Joy D is here, Bon dia to North Carolina, where major winter storm is on tap for the weekend. Wishing I were back in Lisboa. We wish you were back here as well, Joy. Take care in that. Stay safe. And some giggles for Pippa. Pippa has got more for us, everybody, towards the end of the show. Bon dia alegria from a beautiful San Martino de Porto, where Cindy B, I suspect, enjoyed that sunset as well last night. Watch it on the YouTube channel, Expats Portugal. And morning, Carl and the gang from the brilliantly named Big Boy Crypto Pants. Is it only the women that are having a long wait for their driver's licenses? Is there some sort of conspiracy to keep women off the road here? I don't think so. Uncle Krusty, Bon dia alegria Gumpers. Great to see you last night on the call, Uncle Krusty.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but because this is a language program.
Yes.
Bon dia. With an M at the end.
Yes.
Right? There is no Portuguese word with an N at the end, except for the name, for example, Nelson. But a Portuguese word never ends with an N. It's always with an M. So bon dia.
And thank you for that, Filomena. And it's good to know that with that notable exception of Nelson. And I saw my mate Nelson yesterday. I had the best bifana yet in San Martino de Porto yesterday afternoon from Nelson's Cafe Palmera in San Martino de Porto. And we had a little Portuguese exchange. And he said to me, he was feeling great. He's always good, sempre. De bon. And then said 5 stars. And I was able to say back to him, 5 estrelas. and we laughed, and then we ate food together, which is fantastic. I'm impressed. So there you
very
go, Uncle
well.
Krusty. A little bit of a pronunciation note for you there. And for everybody else, no Portuguese words ending in N, apart from Nelson, which I think is a historical quirk. I'm impressed with your Portuguese. I didn't understand what you wrote, but I do enjoy it when I see any Portuguese in this chat room, says Abu. And yeah, I think we'll get a translation on the Amalia in a little while. Okay, everything about dar. Such a difficult verb. That's going to take a while. But yeah, would you care to say do you want to say a little bit more, Filomena, about that and maybe bring in a bit of the personal pronoun business?
Well, everything about dar. Dar, if you want to, for example, the present of the verb, I give, you give, etc., then you say eu dou, tu dás, ele dá, nós damos, vocês, eles dão, right? I can write it for you.
Do you know what? I mean, that's extreme conjugation this morning, because all those words are so different. You couldn't get. Yes.
It's an irregular verb. So do, das, dá, damos, dão. This is the present. Okay.
All right. So that's
if
going
you
into
want the past, it's they, deste, eu.
Oh my goodness.
Demos, deram.
Okay.
So,
no, I don't like to live in the past, so I'm not going to learn this.
Okay. So, of course, being an irregular verb, you have to memorize the words do, das, dá, damos, dão. Although there are a few things that follow the general rule. For example, das with an AS, that's the past, right?
Yeah, that's past.
So if, yes, das with an AS at the end for tu das, the S in a verb is always to do with tu. So that follows the general rule of the AS at the end of the verb for tu, you, informal. Then, for example, da also finishes with an A, as the verbs in AR, like that, they finished in A if it's you, formal, or he or she. So, você dá, or ele dá, ela dá. Then, damos also follows the general rule of AMOS at the end of the verb for we. So, if it's damos, is we give. And then down is a bit different than usual. So that's why do and down is completely different from the usual regular endings. But you memorize it.
Yeah, there you go. So everything about. So we're approaching that this morning, Rebel Mum. I hope that's helping. And any other questions? Keep them coming, because we only get to see Filomena once a month here. Apart from her other special appearances, but generally speaking, it's a once a month residency here on the, where are we? We're on the second Friday, aren't we?
Second Friday of each month.
It's always a pleasure to see you. So carrying on with what we have incoming in our in tray, our comment and chat in tray here. I'm having a poet's day to the max, push off, what was the end of that? Anyway, an early finish on a Friday. Pushed hard this week. My work fitness is low. Bit of a slacker is another way of saying it, isn't it? But still 2 meetings, one of which will mean my early exit from here today. Early exit. Disappearance. From Uncle Krusty's earlier greeting, Carl, earth chips forever, brother. And yes, earth chips in Portugal. I think we need to do a little bit of research on that and see if somebody will speak to us from an earth chip that they may have built in central Portugal. I'm sure they exist here, or certainly parts of the technology made famous by Buckminster Fuller, right? Or originated by Buckminster Fuller, a visionary of our age. Hello to all the people in the shadows, lol, because there are 16 waiting and only 2 of us writing anything. It's often the way in life, isn't it? Funny that. how some step forward to speak and others prefer to lurk and be quiet and reflective elsewhere. Bon dia, Antonio from Cindy B. And you need the SNS number to get the medical for the driver's license. It gets more complicated. Yay. Always good to have a little nibble in the morning. Absolutely right, Coach. Carl, I've never had those German marzipan sweets. I'm not sure if it's the same, but Algarve's traditional sweets are made of almond and sugar too. Yeah, you're never far from marzipan, are you, in a padaria? And yes, next time, James, please, dad joke warning. Maybe I need to make another jingle, don't I? As well as a trigger alert, we need a dad joke warning for people to get ready to groan. And Antonio F helping out here. There we go. Thanks a lot, Antonio, supplementing and complementing the tuition going on this morning.
Yes, but Antonio, please, vós dareis. I mean, around here, nobody speaks like that anymore. So it's no use learning that.
Is that the Portuguese royal family used to use that, did they?
No, but of course this is grammatically correct, but nowadays we have replaced vós by vocês, right? So and then we use the same verb as eles ou elas. So vocês darão, but even this darei, darás, usually we just say eu vou dar, I'm going to give. Vou dar, tu vais dar, ele vai dar, nós vamos dar, eles vão dar, which is simpler than memorizing another form of the verb, right? So it's I appreciate the help, of course, but in my opinion, you don't have to know that. Of course, you can recognize that if you see that, especially in written, because when you read a book in Portuguese, you may find it, or newspaper maybe, but in a conversation, people don't usually use the future mode, but usually it's just the structure vou, vais, vai, etc. And then any verb in the infinitive. So you can say, agora vou comer bolo again. So agora vou comer bolo. So now I'm going to eat a cake. So it's a lot a lot more common than agora comerei bolo.
Yes.
I mean, I don't say that, and I don't listen to that form of the verb very often. Agora comerei bolo.
And it's not as if Daddy Pig says I'm going to eat, or Daddy Pig says to Pepper, I'm going to eat whatever it is Daddy Pig eats. That's our level of reading in Portugal at the moment.
No, but it's the way people speak. I mean, because Portuguese, of course, the language is very difficult, right? And even for Portuguese,
now you tell us.
Even for Portuguese, the language is hard, and so we try to make it simple and as simple as we can. So
really?
We use we use other forms. For example, instead of saying the future like that, we use the simple form. Like I said, eu vou dar, tu vais dar, ele vai dar, nós vamos dar, eles vão dar, which is simple because it's always dar. You don't have to memorize another ending, right?
And that's why people think it sounds like Russian as well. People do say that, don't they? And do little children in school conjugate? You know, do they sit there going, dare, darash, dara?
Yes, the children have to learn it. Yes, the children have to learn it at school. Yes.
Amazing. Hearing little kids doing that. It's a bit like Latin, isn't it? Amor, amassa, mat. My goodness, that takes me back. Jim McDonald, bon dia, Carl, Filomena, y todos from a very foggy and cold Wiesbaden in Germany. How long now, Jim?
Guten Morgen, Jim.
And Filomena vai alegrar o dia do Gumper. Now, are we going to take this apart, or is that correct?
Obrigada.
Okay, a simple obrigado. And muito bem for you, Suze. How about that? While walking, I remember that I can catch on my cell phone as well during the dog walk. Oh, so let's stop talking about Matty. We thought you'd gone. So we will stop talking behind your back here, Matty. There once was a chick from Lahore, moved her life so far away. Oh, I haven't got the scanning right on this, have I? Once was a chick from Lahore, moved her life so far away, found a place friendly and sweet, and in the north, cows in the street, so decided she always would stay. Okay, I've really that's a limerick, isn't it? What? Okay, I'm still. I think I'm going to continue to ruin that. But thank you very much for your limerick there, with the important ending line there, the concluding line. So decided she always would stay, and the beautiful illustration with words there of cows in the street, and we've seen them. We've seen the video of the cows in the street there. So thank you, the limerick of your life there, Rebel Mama in the north of Portugal. Fantastic. I'm very quick to respond to that request as well. The Algarve can be so quiet in winter, and that's why some people like it like that, right?
Yes.
How did you learn Portuguese, and are you at the B2 level? Abu is asking. And this is a great question, isn't it? For a woman speaking, is it muito obrigada or muito obrigada? And if not, why not?
No, it's muito obrigada.
Okay.
Because you are saying thank you very much, let's say, and so this very much doesn't change. Muito. The word muito is used when you have a noun after the muito. So, for example, a lot of water. You say muita água. Muita água. So it's a lot of water. Or muita fruta, a lot of fruit. So a word that is a noun that comes after muito or muita. Then if it's feminine, yes, you say muita. But obrigada is not a noun. Obrigada. So as I said before, obrigada literally meaning thankful. I'm thankful to you. So because it's not a noun, you don't say muita. You always say muito. With a verb or with an adjective, you always say muito. For example, you can say very beautiful, right? Muito bonito. You say muito bonito or muito bonita if it's something feminine. So, for example, the landscape in Portuguese, we say a paisagem. A paisagem, it's feminine. So you can say the landscape is very beautiful. A paisagem é muito bonita. Because bonita is an adjective, you don't change the word muito because it's with an adjective. But if it's with a noun, as I said, then it changes and it can be feminine, masculine, singular, plural. So you can say muitos carros, a lot of cars. Muitos, with an S at the end also. Muitos carros, a lot of cars. Or muitas casas, a lot of houses, many houses. So with a noun, yes, it changes. But with verbs or with adjectives, it doesn't change.
Very good. There you go, Joy D. That nails it, doesn't it?
And by the way, we can speak about the capital letter, isn't it? Because your initial question, right?
Okay. So when I'm sending an email to someone, I'm putting in there, bon dia. And I'm thinking to myself, well, do I put a capital D on the dia there? I know I'm starting the sentence with a bon dia, so I should put a capital B. But what do we do with the capitalizations on greetings and so on?
No, you don't need you don't need a capital letter on dia. It's just at the beginning of the sentence. And it's not like in German. In German, for example, every noun has to be written in capital, but not in Portuguese. So actually, there were a few words that used to be written with a capital letter, and now after the agreement with Brazil and other Portuguese-speaking countries in the world, with this agreement, we don't write with a capital letter anymore. Like the months, for example, January, Janeiro, Fevereiro, Março, Abril, the months we don't write with a capital letter anymore. For example, the
Oh,
days of the week, segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, we don't write with a capital letter anymore.
wow.
So there are a few changes since the last agreement. But some people still do. Some people still write with a capital letter. But according to the agreement, you don't write with a capital letter anymore.
Amazing. So generally speaking, then best to leave out the capitals unless you're
No,
starting.
no, you use the capital letters if you are writing, for example, the name of someone, right?
Yeah, sure.
So the name of the city, the name of the
Yes.
village, the town, the name of someone,
Yeah.
yes, and the beginning of the sentence.
Yes.
But apart from that, no, you don't usually use
Very
the
good.
capital letters. Yes.
Thank you for clearing that up. I don't know if that was just my problem or if anyone else had that as well. And on this as well, that N sound in muito, like if you're saying muito prazer, there's an N in there, isn't there? You would never guess that written down there as muito that there would be that N sound in there, but that's in there, isn't it?
The N
As in
sound.
muito. It comes. Can you hear that little N in it? Muito.
It's the UI,
Yeah.
UI, the sound
Yes.
is ui.
I hear an
Ui.
N. I hear a
Muy,
N sound in there. Like,
muy, yes, because
Muy-
then it's
that's it.
it becomes
That
muito, muita, because it becomes nasal. Then
Yes.
it seems, yes, it might seem that muita. It might seem that there is an N, yes, but no.
To the foreign ear, there's an N in there for sure. I know I've gone over it before, says James. Another great questions, everybody, this morning. Thank you. And thanks, Filomena, for sorting out the capitalization thing and for answering Joy's question there.
You're welcome.
To James now. I know we've gone over it before, but I continue to struggle with the Portuguese application of the English for de. I think if I understand the rules, I may finally get a grip on it. So is there any rules we can give to James for de?
Well, the English for, as we have seen, can be para or por, right?
All right. Yeah.
And yes, we have seen this before a couple of times, and I know that it is hard, but maybe the best would be to learn the expressions, the sentences that you usually use with this, because when you speak, if you are overthinking about the rules, then it's a bit hard. You take a while to say something, but maybe the best would be to learn a few expressions, like, for example, thank you for your help, obrigada or obrigado pela sua ajuda. So like that. But I can say it again, that para always expresses either just a direction, like to, para, I can say eu vou para Lisboa, I'm going to Lisbon. So this para can also be to. But for example, isto é para mim, for me, right? This is for me, and that is also the direction, let's say, if the object is coming towards me, that is the direction of the object towards me. So,
Yes.
Para mim, isto é para mim. So this para is always to do with, let's say, the final destination of something. When I explained, I said there is a point A and a point B, remember? And there is always this travel from point A to point B. So either physically or in a more abstract way. So this is, for example, for me, para mim, because it's the final destination. Then, if you want to say the process, so not the final destination, but not the aim, the final aim, but the way you take, or the way something takes to get somewhere, then it's por. So, for example, you can say eu vou para Lisboa pela autoestrada. I go to Lisbon through the highway. So pela, because it's por plus a, feminine. And of course, para never changes, but por has the feminine and the masculine and the singular and the plural. But so, for example, you can say, as we have said the last time, I think, when you said the Intermarché slogan of pour si,
Yep.
that is a different for you. It's not for you. Of course, the slogan plays with the words, right? It's pour si, it's for you, but it's also in the sense of when you do something for someone. So for my sake, right? So it's another for you. So you can do something for love, for example, por amor. Por amor is to do something for love, fazer alguma coisa por amor, or por amizade, for friendship. So that is another for. It's por. So again, I hope this helped a little bit. I didn't
Absolutely.
explain
Testing
much
you
this
later.
time, but just in my opinion, it's better to try to learn the sentence that you usually need with the for, and
Yeah.
I think that's maybe the best way for you to remember if it's
think so.
por or para.
And I think this is one of those situations where listening to the radio, watching TV helps as
Yeah.
well, because you'll hear it in
Yeah.
context there, won't you? So James,
Yes.
good luck with that. I don't know what this is. Sausages on. Oh, this is the swimming on the New Year's Day. Sausages on the way in, chipolatas on the way out, which takes us to let's do that lovely slideshow now of the Algarve. Let's have a little break. Give everyone a chance to soak up the incoming information and education this morning. So there we did it for you, James. So we've covered that.
Yes.
So let's go to the Algarve for a moment now and just have a little bit of a breather and have a look at these wonderful. Actually, no, before we do, we need to know why you were in the papers, and then we'll go to the Algarve. So what happened?
Yes, I was in the newspaper because that is my friend Moa Haga. She was born in Finland, but she has lived most of her life in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
And her husband is also Swedish. And so she lives here in Miranda do Corvo for 7 years now. And she has had Portuguese lessons with me. And she's still having lessons with me, although she's already in the advanced level. But she also likes to learn a lot. So she wrote a book in Swedish. She wrote a book for children, and then she had this idea. Oh, we could translate the book into Portuguese, and so we did the translation together. Of course, I don't know Swedish, but because I know German, and of course when we wanted to clarify something, we used to speak in English. And when she didn't remember how to say that in English, then I would look up the Swedish sentence, and I would try to see the similarities with German sometimes. And so it took us a long time, a few months, to translate the book. But and then with the pandemic, we had some sessions online too. So we made a few pages every day. But yes, we had also lots of fun. We had lots of work, but lots of fun translating the whole book. And now the book has been issued in Portugal and in Brazil.
Fantastic. So if somebody wants to get hold of it, tripsforbrits@gmail.com.
Yes, you can contact me. It's €12, by the way.
Well, all
And
the work that's gone into that, incredible.
and it's a story for children, but
Yeah.
not just for children. You might like the story. It's about a ship, and it's about an enchanted ship, and so
Ooh.
yeah.
Okay, so and a good way to learn Portuguese, obviously, as translated from the Swedish by Filomena, who's with us this morning.
Filomena and more.
And
Filomena and more.
big team effort there. So let's go to the Algarve now. You'll still hear our voices behind the lovely pictures here that Filomena is sharing with us from her Algarve trip of late 2021. Where do we find ourselves here? These are appear a
In
lot.
Lagos.
Yeah. And these are iconic photographs or iconic scenes that are often in Portuguese travel and
Yes.
tourism guides. Okay, and over
Vila
to
Moura.
yeah, in no particular order here because I think we're going to be jumping all over
Yes.
the Algarve right now.
Vila
But
Moura, that's Vila
no, but-
Moura, and sorry to interrupt you, but that is Figo's cafe and restaurant in Vila Moura. You know Figo? Do you remember Figo, the football player?
no, I don't. But
Oh, you don't? Okay,
no.
you are not a football fan, but
Well, I am to some extent, but obviously not as much enough of a fan to know who Figo was.
yeah,
But so,
Figo was a very good football player. So and he also had number 7, like Cristiano Ronaldo now.
that's what
So
that's what I was going to ask you next. So he was the
yes,
7th.
he was number 7, and so he has this big cafe and restaurant in Vila Moura by
Oh.
the marine. And
Yeah.
this is me and my Polish friend Barbara. Barbara.
We know Barbara. Yeah. Dzień dobry,
Yes,
Barbara.
Barbara is sometimes commenting on also on the show, and she came to spend Christmas with me. Yes, and then we went down to the Algarve for a few days.
How lovely. So do you get to meet Figo when you're there, or is he a bit of a globe?
No, no, he was not there.
Okay, all right. So back to Lagos there, and
Lagos, yes, Ponta da Piedade. This is
Can you-
Ponta da Piedade in Lagos.
is it possible to sail around these? Because that must be very dramatic and picturesque to do such a thing.
Yes.
Be
Yeah.
great to get out there. Well, maybe too dangerous to go in a boat. I don't know.
No,
And
there are boat trips, yeah.
okay. Sand City, you mentioned to me in our
Sand
correspondence.
City, yes, because you said that you didn't know. You didn't know about Sand City.
I don't know it. No.
No, well, Sand City is, as you can see on that sign, Lagoa. So it's a place with lots and lots of statues made with sand, and you can find everything. The Queen of England, you can find the Pope, you can find characters from cartoons. You know,
Okay.
Harry Potter, you can everything possible, everything you can think of. And you have some very, very good stand statues there.
Amazing.
Yeah. It says it's the world's biggest sculpture park, sand sculpture
Amazing.
park.
All right. So, and Alexander the Great, or Sandy, as he's known, of course, in this place. Do they keep remaking them? Because presumably these crumble.
Yes. They have to. Yes, they have to remake, because sometimes you would never think that it rains in the Algarve, but
Oh,
but
my
sometimes it does, right? Sometimes it does rain. So yes,
Disaster.
they with the rain, sometimes the statue they suffer some accidents. Yes.
Yeah, but better than being a waxworks museum, because when the Pope changes, you can just resculpt it, can't you, with sand? It's a bit more difficult in a waxworks,
Yes.
or if it's
Yeah.
in stone, for that matter. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
but
I love.
it's worth a visit. It's worth a
Yeah,
visit.
sounds like it. And you and Senor Pascal here
Yes,
as well.
it's me and my husband. Yes, in
Fantastic.
Monte Gordo.
Monte Gordo, and then a long shot of the beach as well there.
Monte Gordo. Yeah. As you see, it's crowded.
Yes. And someone's been driving on the beach as well there, we can see. Okay, and where's this then?
That is in Olhão.
Oh, Lyon. Okay, and
Olhão.
I mean, you really have got the place to yourself here, haven't you? It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And a night
This is
scene.
the Roman bridge in Tavira.
Vera, you went all over the Algarve then. You had a really good road trip down there.
Well, I'm always on the move.
Yeah, that sounds great. Where are you? Where are you
This
paddling?
is
Ontario?
Alvor, the
Oh,
beach of Alvor,
yeah,
between Portimão and Lagos. Yeah.
very good. Okay,
And that was, by the way, that was Barbara again. Barbara and her husband Stanislaw from Poland.
Stanislav. Okay, enjoying themselves I bet they had a lovely time because it was
Oh
pretty,
yeah, they loved it. They loved it.
pretty cold back in Poland at this time of year. This is a major Precipio then.
Yes,
Fantastic.
a very very beautiful presépio in Vila Real de Santo António.
Okay, VRSA there, and a little bit of a. I mean,
Did you notice? Did you notice the leg? Did you notice his leg?
Oh no, hold on a minute. Do that again. I noticed his leg on the second time. But you could spend hours looking at the detail in this, couldn't you?
Yeah, because there are moving figures all around, you know. So it's very very beautiful, and it's just €1 or €2 to get in. It's very very cheap, and it's worth a visit also. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like. And beautiful sunset. Where would we be without our
In
beautiful
Monte Gordo. That is in Monte Gordo.
All right, and I think Monte Gordo again.
Monte Gordo again, yeah.
Yeah, looking at the beach.
You can see the boats at the on the left. You can see the fishermen's boats.
Yeah, superb. And not all beaches. So back a bit from the sea. But
that is also Monte Gordo, but Monte Gordo also has lovely walking areas in the forest. Yeah.
Okay, and a couple of sunsets. Monte Gordo again.
Monte Gordo again.
And another
and
one.
Monte Gordo again. Yeah.
Yeah, and the final picture then. We've also got a video, I think, probably of Monte Gordo as well. But a couple of British tourists who get.
Yes, the poor tourists. They were not. they were a bit. Well, I think the seagulls had already eaten their eyes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah. Typical Brits staying out too long in the sunshine.
Yeah, they are a bit over suntanned.
Let's go with dehydrated on that one. So bless them on the beach there, and we have a final little bit of video as well. That is another moment of relaxation for everybody. Let's have a look at this. Oh, Filomena, I was really feeling that. I could feel that inside. I feel the wind on my face and the sea lapping against my feet. Beautiful. Monte Gordo again.
Monte Gordo again. Yes, that's why I like to go there in the winter.
Excellent. Thank you so much for those. Very thoughtful, very beautiful. And thanks for sharing. I have been studying at least an hour a day. So back to the Portuguese language and culture now in the last 15 minutes of the show before we head, we have on Poets Day and we head towards the weekend. I've been studying at least an hour a day, 3 different ways. Well done, Rebel Mama. And I can't learn without immersion. So I try to talk to people everywhere I go. I'm still A level. I used to translate for the above. I'll probably come back to that.
Yeah, but I think Rebel Mama is right. Just as she said, immersing, with this immersion in the language, you learn something. Because sometimes, I mean, I'm not criticizing, but sometimes British people want to learn, but then they just listen to British radio, they just watch British television. Yes. They are never surrounded by the Portuguese language. And that way is a lot harder to learn, right? Yeah, so if you listen to, I know that the programs sometimes are you know, not very good. But it's not about the quality of the programs. And there are some programs that, for example, the on RTP1 in the evening. I know you go to bed very, very, very early, but in the evening, at about 9 o'clock in the evening, there is usually a program from Monday to Friday, which is a quiz program. It's called Joker, and there is a person who tries to get the correct answer from four choices, like a bit like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but you have four choices and then you choose one. For example, with that program, you can learn a lot because you listen to the reading and they read it's on the screen, so you can see what is there. And I think it's a good way. For example, this one is a good way to learn a little bit of vocabulary, of the structure of the sentence. But I really think that listening is very, very important. And the more you listen, the more you learn. Even if you don't understand everything at first, it's natural that you don't understand everything at first. But in the long run, you have to be patient. But in the long run, you will eventually you will realize that you are understanding. You understand more and more every day. And that's the way
it's how babies learn, isn't it? I mean, it must be really weird for babies,
Yes,
must it?
yeah.
When they're just hearing these strange noises for months on end.
Yeah.
And eventually they start to see the patterns, don't they? And I think, it's all about patterns, isn't it? And
Yes.
remembering
and like the dogs, for example, when you speak to your dog, I mean, when the dog was born, it didn't know any English or Portuguese or any other language, right?
Hard to believe, but it's true. Hard to believe. So you Brits, take that on the chin, you lot. Stop watching Benny Hill every night and start watching listening to the radio or watching Portuguese TV. I think Antena Deutsch is really nice on the radio. Because there's a higher brow. Yeah,
Yes.
they speak properly and clearly, don't they, on Antena Deutsch? It's like the posh. The equivalent in the UK is more like Radio 3 and Radio 4. And so they're calm and polite, and they talk proper Portuguese, I think, on there, from what I can make out. And you get to hear some really good music as well. Classical music, opera, jazz. It's a good listen. Antena Deutsch, I would commend to you.
Yeah.
If we don't talk about politics, then we won't know who to cancel. We're never going to be far away from politics, you know that. And we've done the conjugation there. We're going back some way on these comments.
Yeah, we have conjugated the verb in at least in the present and the past and the future.
Conjugating this morning, absolutely right. LLP 1 a.m. In Oregon. The Dutch going into the sea was quite entertaining. Thanks for the video.
Yes, it was quite entertaining for the people in Montegordo too.
I bet it is every year. Terence did a blog on the comparison between California and Portugal, strangely enough. Come on, Garvo, keep up. We've done that bit and we've featured it. And let's see if we can get Terence to read that for us as well, because that'll add definitely a dimension to it and lift it off the page. We're still stuck in dar there, aren't we? It's made
dar jeito, dar certo. Yes, okay. Yeah.
Do the Portuguese say please and thank you as much as the English? Oh, that's an interesting question.
I don't think so.
They certainly don't say sorry enough.
No, we are very, very straightforward. And sometimes even when you say dê-me, right, give me, dê-me aquele bolo. And sometimes we don't even say please, right? So, yes.
I think you're right. Yeah. But it's a funny thing. And when I said they don't say sorry enough, I was thinking more of certain people in England at the moment who aren't apologizing enough for people's tastes.
Yeah. No, but that, for example, I remember in September when we went grape picking in Penella, as I usually go. And I was giving the T-shirts, because when you go there to pick the grapes, you get a T-shirt. And I was giving the T-shirts, and I asked some people, some foreigners that were with me, and I asked, put the T-shirt on so that I would take a picture with the T-shirts on. And then they said, please. Yes, because
Oh.
for the Portuguese, I know it should be with please, but just put the t-shirt on and come on, hurry up with that, and let's
this varies all over the world, and you don't have to take it personally, do you? Because that's the funny thing about British people. I mean, there's a big emphasis on politeness, but quietly and secretly, they're really, sort of nasty to each other beneath the veneer, so they could probably benefit from being a bit more direct and honest a lot of the time, with all these pleases and thank yous and sorries. And do excuse me, I'm awfully sorry, but
I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a party. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for everything. It's like, oh God. I'm sorry I didn't know it was a party. Exactly. You don't get away with
Carl,
it. Sorry about it.
I'm also sorry, but shall we speak about the grammar part or not?
Go on, let's do
I can skip it.
No. Sorry, it's just this lot are keeping us busy, with all the comments that are coming in. And I don't think this is about Benny Hill that I mentioned before. I've been reading about him recently. Did he turn up in Portuguese culture a lot? I imagine the Portuguese, with their sense of humour, do have a fondness for Benny Hill. But yes, please do the grammar.
Yes, okay. Well, because in my classes, sometimes people ask, what is the difference between, for example, they see the y. Have you ever come across with the y?
Oh, yes.
L-H-E.
Yeah.
Right? And then people ask me, what is this y? Right? And so, as I was saying a long time ago, this me, you, and him or her, us, you, and them, we have, in Portuguese, we have two kinds, of course. I mean, we couldn't have just one, right? So we have two kinds of me and you and him and them, etc. We for people who speak German, probably it's easier to understand because it's similar to accusative and dative sometimes. So accusative and dative is more or less also like this. And so, for example, I can say, ajudas-me, right? Ajudas-me, and that is very, very simple. Do you help me? Right? Or podes ajudar-me? Can you help me? And that is exactly like the English. I can answer, sim, ajudo-te. So ajudo-te is I help you. If I'm speaking to a friend, if I'm speaking to a more in a more formal, a more polite environment, let's say, then I can say ajudo if it's a man. I mean, I help you, and the other person is a man, or ajudo-a if the other person is a woman, right? So this I help you, or ajudo or ajudo-a can be several things. It can be I help you, but it can also be I help him, ajudo, and also ajudo-a, I help her. So it all depends on the context, on the conversation that you are having at the moment. So in the context, you understand if it is I help you, or I help him, or I help her. So this is one of him and her. Then you have, for example, and for the other, I'm going to write a sentence to try to make it more clear. Okay. For example, o João ofereceu ramo de flores à Isabel. Ok, o João ofereceu ramo de flores à Isabel. So, João, John, offered a bunch of flowers to Isabel, to Elizabeth. So in this case, if I want to say that John offered it, the bunch of flowers, offered it to Isabel, I can say o João ofereceu a Isabel. So that this u, I don't know if you can put it on the screen. So maybe it's better for people to. So
those.
so o João ofereceu ramo de flores a Isabel. So John offered a bunch of flowers to Elizabeth. If you say o João ofereceu a Isabel, it means that John offered it to Isabel, right?
Yeah.
So it, this u can also be it because it refers to ramo de flores, right? The bunch of flowers. You can also say John offered her a bunch of flowers, right? So you can say o João ofereceu-lhe ramo de flores.
Yeah.
Okay? So this lhe, o João ofereceu-lhe ramo de flores. John offered her, in this case, a bunch of flowers. This lhe, again, in the context, can be him or her, or it can even mean you. But again, just in the context, we understand if it's you, formal, or him or her. So why when do we have this u and when do we have this lhe? If you notice on the sentence, o João ofereceu ramo de flores a Isabel. So John offered a bunch of flowers. If you ask the question, what did he offer him? What? Then the answer for what is the bunch of flowers, right? So that is what we call pronome pessoal de complemento direto in Portuguese, which is the answer to what. So you can ask the question who or what, and then the answer would be with this u or a if it's something feminine. But if you see the sentence, o João ofereceu-lhe ramo de flores, then John offered her a bunch of flowers, and then the question must be to whom? To whom did he give a bunch of flowers? So it's not just who or what, but is to whom? To whom did he give a bunch of flowers? So when you ask to what, to whom, then the answer is this lhe. This lhe meaning him or her or you in the formal way. So, for example, you can say, eu enviei-lhe e-mail. Eu enviei-lhe e-mail. Sim, pois foi. I know this is harder. I know this is not the very, very basic. Although it's A1, it's still A1 level. But it's not the first lessons, right? But people, if they want to learn a little bit more, so if I say eu enviei-lhe e-mail, this eu enviei-lhe e-mail can mean I have sent you an email, but it can also mean I have sent him an email or I have sent her an email. So this lhe can be you, him, or her. I can also say the same thing in the plural. So eu enviei-lhes e-mail.
Send them an email.
Eu enviei-lhes e-mail in the plural. It's I have sent them an email, right? I have sent them. Eu enviei-lhes e-mail.
Here
Ok.
it is. That's going on the screen now, folks, just so you can see
Eu
the difference.
enviei-lhes. Yes.
There
Eu
we go.
enviei-lhes email. So I've sent them an email. So again, the question is, to whom? To whom did I send an email, right? Not who I sent an email, but to whom did I send an email? So the answer, it must be you and not u or Muito complicado, yes, I know. Yeah, I know. I know, it's muito complicado. But I didn't have much time now in the last few minutes. I have written a few sentences to give as examples, but
Well, that's the great thing about this is that people can replay that and just play over that segment.
But I mean, my explanation was a very short one, but
I thought it was really good with those qualifying questions.
Yes, I think the key is the question that you can ask. Instead of asking who, you have to ask to whom, and then the answer is je. It must be je and not u or
I think that's very helpful. I know it's one of those things. I think when a penny drops, doesn't it? You'll hear that again, following the advice you gave earlier on. You'll hear that in conversation, in context, and okay, I get it.
Yes,
I get it.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Superb. Well, that brings us up to 10 o'clock. I'm going to stick around and read a few more comments. But Filomena, bom fim de semana. E muito obrigado.
Bom fim de semana e bom ano para todos.
Thank you. Igualmente, muito obrigado. And we'll see you again on the second Friday of next month.
And
in the meantime,
keep some notes about questions about Portuguese, and next time,
we do really appreciate you, and so do that, folks. If you've got anything, just send it in, or write it on a post-it note and stick it on your computer. So the next time Filomena is on, you can ask her. And somebody was asking.
Someone was asking about what kind of classes I had, right?
Please.
Yes, I also do classes online, yes, but one-to-one. I mean, I don't do group classes. I do one-to-one, or when it's a couple, for example, they have the class together. But yes, I do using Zoom or Skype or even Messenger sometimes. But yes, you can contact me through that email, tripsforbrits@gmail.com, and I will let you know. What level Portuguese does one need to get citizenship? It's just the basic, the A2. A2 is just the very basic, and the exam, the test doesn't ask you anything about history or culture. It's just about the language.
Okay. And sorry, in another quick one, a bit, because we've got so many comments that we haven't addressed yet. I'm going to stick around to do that. But look, for precisar de, is the de always present?
Yes. It's like, for example, gostar de. You always say gosto de. I like something, but in Portuguese, gosto de. Gosto de café. I like coffee. It's always followed with de. As in English, you always follow to. Listen to, for example. You don't say I listen music. I listen to music. So you always need the to, and the same happens in Portuguese with this gostar de, precisar de. Yes, it is always present. Sometimes this de also changes to other words starting with D, but this is another long story.
All right, Jandis is in the house, everybody. Bon dia all from Jandis. And you've made a Dutchman very happy this morning, I think, with mention of Unox, Erbertensuppe.
Yes, the pea soup, yes.
Yep. So happy memories of soup and sausages for that Dutchman there. They also sponsor events, of course, in the homeland there in the Netherlands as well. So thank you for all you've brought to us this morning. It's been fantastic talking with you as ever, Filomena. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again soon next month.
Sim, até fevereiro. Até fevereiro, which is a very hard word to say, isn't it? Até fevereiro.
Ciao. Fevereiro. Ciao, até logo, até fevereiro. There she goes, Filomena Pascoal. We and Trips for Brits. at gmail.com. Use the number 4, Trips for Brits, to, that's the tours as well, all over the country with Filomena, which I'm sure will be a hoot. Going out with Filomena all over the country, learning a bit of Portuguese and having a lot of fun and getting waved to the front of the queue, as I understand it, when it's a busy event, like the horse fair that we heard about. And everyone seems to know Filomena all over Portugal. And so you get VIP treatment when you're out on a Trips for Brit tour with Filomena as well. Stockholm Sunset Syndrome. What is that? Where you believe that the sunset is working in your best interest, possibly there? And will my name, let's go through a few of these in a leisurely way as we head towards the weekend. Will my name be pronounced differently in Portugal? I'm going to go with Sush, Sushan. I wonder. We can ask that next time. Portuguese viewers, question please. If you had to identify yourselves as Iberian, Latin or Lusitanian, which would you use? Just out of curiosity. That's a great question. Let's see what comes up with that. I would love to name each one of you as I say good morning to everybody, but there are already so many of you that it becomes growingly difficult. I love this community. Yeah, Doros, I think is the way to do it these days. Pete's here, who speaks very highly of Filomena. Bom dia, Filomena and Carl. Então, Boris deve deportado tal como Novak Djokovic. Looks like the Novaks might be getting deported from Australia, right? But I don't think Boris is going to get deported from the UK. Although, does he have a dual citizenship? So he could get deported to America. Watch out, America. Isn't the plural of the word ending in M, remove the M and add the N's? That's going to have to go to Antonio if he's still here this morning. I'm back already and watching. Oh, and he watched while he was out with the dogs too. So glad to hear someone's watching the Good Morning Portugal show whilst dogging this morning. And the big boy Crypto Pads. Hello, good morning. Thank you for the coffee, Mrs. M. What is easy? Hello. Hey. A little Sol as well. What is the easiest bank to open an account and get a NIF whilst I'm visiting Portugal? Well, a lot of people go with Millennium BCP because they're all over the place. But get a tip from somebody, big boy Crypto Pants, BBC. Ask in the forum. What you need is an easy branch. It's about the people in the branch, not necessarily the corporation, would be my advice. And you will need the NIF and the bank account, Portuguese bank account for your visa process. Get help from EI as well if you want the pros to take care of it for you. Good morning, everyone from Tugas coaches. Tell us more about yourself, Senor Neves there. And Jeannie's here. Hello, Jeannie. How are you? It's been a long time. Bom dia, alegria, Filomena e todos. Great to have you with us this morning. And Filomena is Brazilian Portuguese, a lot different from the native spoken word. Oh, yes. It doesn't need me to say that, does it? I'm sure other Portuguese people here will be adding to that question and that response. I'd like to learn and improve my English. Help me. I speak Portuguese as Tugas coach. You're very welcome here. In the same way that we've been advised to watch Portuguese telly, join us in the mornings, Tugas coaches, Senor Neves there, and we'll help you as much as we possibly can. And it'll be reciprocal. Do help us to speak Portuguese as well. I know there is a website that conjugates all the Portuguese, or most or many, but I can't remember where it is. Mia recommends it, so I'll have to look it up. Yeah, if you've got a link for that. Mia, of course, another one of our great assets when it comes to learning Portuguese, and she'll be with us on the last Friday of the month. And you can sign up for a free course on the website, expatsportugal.com. And we get a discount as well. If you sign up for her paid courses as a premium member, we sort of organize a bit of a discount for you. Falamos, falou. I get called out every day on my 15 minutes a day. Any tips to help me remember the correct use of each word, please? She's gone already. Anyone else help Chris there? Filomena, what is the difference between queria, gostaria, for example, cafe? Oh, I want and I would like, I suppose. The two words translate to the same word in English. I think queria is what I hear most people going with, rather than I would like. Every time I realize how easier it is for an Italian language speaking to learn Portuguese. Yeah, and sometimes I am tempted with some of the Portuguese words to go into a kind of, Italiano vibe with that. Sorry we didn't see that earlier, Raphael, but you know where she is, here every second Friday. Abu's asking, do the Portuguese add alegria to bom dia? I like it when people do it here. I don't think it's that common, is it? But Bon dia alegria is certainly something that's been used here, and we're owning that. This is some usage of the word. This is some usage of the word simple that I'm not familiar with. Yes, referring, I think, to the complexity of the language, possibly. And simples is a good word to know, actually, in Portuguese, isn't it? If you have your hamburger, simples or com todos. We cannot ignore that verbs in the second person plural are still much used in the vast northern Portugal areas. João F. retorting there with the usage. And this is an ongoing debate, isn't it? How Portuguese is spoken, used, where it's used, and whether it is indeed correct or not, according to the accords and so on. That will run and run, I'm sure. Muito obrigado, Filomena, from Uncle Krusty there. And thank you for your message, Uncle Krusty. Yes, Bucky, of course, the geodesic domes rather than the earthships. And the originator of the earthship is Michael E. Reynolds. Thank you for that. Earthships, amazing. I'm sure we'll talk more about those. Dad joke coming in from Garvo in Algarve. What do you call a group of Brits struggling to learn Portuguese in the corner of a field? A thicket. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just watch less Benny Hill and more Portuguese telly. I like to throw in a preposition before a verb so I can check you out using it in the infinitive. Pamela Smith, give us an example of that. Hola, Posters Bonitas. Hello to the beautiful people from Fiona and Simon. Good to see you both here. Filomena, do you know the app Say Hi? And if so, what do you think of the translation to Portuguese? Sorry, that's going to have to go to other people, Jeannie, this morning. We answered your question, didn't we, Sam? And good morning from Coimbra, from Jimmy, from James White. And we've got a message from James, which he says is okay to play. We're going to find out now.
Hi, sorry to keep missing everybody on Good Morning Portugal period. We're exploring Coimbra.
That's a really beautiful voice, James.
Sorry to keep missing everybody on Good Morning Portugal period. We're exploring Coimbra.
Raphael, you have a competitor there, my friend, for voicing up the jingles. Matty, don't get started with German, Filomena. Nothing good. It's okay, everybody, relax. He's German. Carl, when it comes to capitals, just use the English rules. It's the same. Oh, good to know, Elra. Thank you for that. And is there a cheat sheet available for learning Portuguese? Something with the days of the week? We need to do that, don't we? We need the Expats Portugal basic guide. What a great idea, Jandis. Thank you very much for that. A new member to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Really appreciate that. And ciao, everyone. Bon fin semana from Francis, who's got to go do stuff, as we all have to do. So I'm scrolling quickly through. I also struggle with the word sim. Could you please say it slowly so I can get it's not SIM card. Sim with the and Louise with a bon dia, listening in the wings. Thank you for a great lesson, Filomena, this morning. And muito obrigado. The rules really help me. Just listening, reading, etc. feels so random to me. Ty is here. Good morning, Ty. Very good explanation of the various forms of for. Thanks for that feedback there. And what's the title of the book? I don't know, Joy. But if you emailed Filomena, tripsforbrits@gmail.com, you will find out. And on the capitalization, unlike the English, the days of the week and months are not capitalized, not anymore anyway, right? By the way, the French rules for capitalization similar to Portuguese. And Love in Lagos, this is taking us all the way back to the slideshow. Any suggestions for Netflix or Portuguese TV for learning Portuguese while being entertained? Gloria is not entertaining. It's shocking, isn't it? But it is one way of learning Portuguese. Watch Gloria. And I know there are more Portuguese collaborations with Netflix coming, so that in the pipeline. Want to make use of a large cinematic TV at my current house. Are you watching us on a cinema screen this morning, Louise? That's terrifying. Yeah, Gloria is the recommendation from Matty as well to you, Louise. Figo, write out 100 times. Figo is the third best Portuguese player ever after Eusebio, right? Cristiano first, or is Eusebio first? I'm guessing Eusebio. You might say Eusebio. Sand City is brilliant. I'll send you loads of photos. Thank you, Lucy, for that. It does sound quite amazing. And we had a sand sculptor here at San Martino de Porto at Christmas time, and he was brilliant. It's a real skill, isn't it? Love the beach video. Absolutely. I'm sure Filomena won't mind me passing that on to you, Suze, if you want that. And Sand City is truly amazing. We went 15 years ago with the Capricorn 12 Cubs. Definitely worth visiting. And yeah, Joy, I understand there. Trips for Ritz at gmail.com. Try that. And Fiona and Simon, look at this showing off. Lovely photos. As praias para sempre, gorgeous, Filomena. Filomena, how do you ask a shop assistant when you need to top up credit on your phone? Somebody else, please help Fiona out. That sounds serious and urgent. In the comments, learning new language, develop your ear, study the accent, learn the idioms and verb conjugation. Yeah, don't be put off by the hard stuff straight away. Get out there and have some fun with it. You've got to, haven't you? I agree with Filomena. You need to immerse in the language, news, songs, TV, talk shows, movies, YouTube, etc. And whenever I drive my car, says Matty, I'm listening to Portuguese radio. Great moment for doing that. And I wish there was more Portuguese TV with Portuguese subtitles. Any suggestions? I think it was the equivalent of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire that she was recommending, right? And cartoons, says Antonio F. You can see kids' cartoons on TV or YouTube, and they're spoken in Portuguese. That helps, doesn't it? I remember hearing Portuguese and the words I recognise stood out. Then later the words you don't recognise stand out, says Pam, who is a great speaker and has resources for you as well. Get in touch with Pam if you want some peer-to-peer learning with the Portuguese. Do listen to Radio Amalia. And he did when he was in Amsterdam by the sound of it, and here in Pombal, Pombal 96, which sounds like Pombal 96, one of those types of radio stations. Agora, Portugal. Watching Brazilian soap operas on YouTube, possibly novelas, was helpful in learning the language too. But yeah, you're going to get the Brazilian Portuguese that way, aren't you? And Pam likes the Portugal and Direito live, Portugal live on RTP1 at 5:30. Every day, and a very late bon dia alegria a todos from Jeff Jackson. Missed you last night, Jeff. Some good questions, which I think you might have been able to answer about banking, both having banks in the States and here in Portugal. Getting there, folks. We're going to make our way into the weekend real soon. I'm glad I learned French before learning Portuguese because the grammar is very similar between the two languages. Fantastic. And thank you for answering my questions. Very much appreciated. Very polite. BBC Big Boy Crypto Pants. Asking about thank yous and thanking us for asking about the thank yous. Fantastic. Portuguese has felt like a mix of French and Spanish. I'm not sure if learning these two first is a good thing or not. I'm sure that's a mixed blessing. Cindy B. See you soon, Cindy. I hope sometime soon. And don't forget the offer. We're here for you. Okay, Cindy B. I would read that 80% of the words are the same in Portuguese and Spanish, but the pronunciation is so different. I'm sure there's some truth in that. And as we go out, let's see who else is here. Louise Chalkley is here. Brilliant class is such fun. I'm glad you think so, Louise. Good morning to you. I'm in the United Arab Emirates and enjoy them so much. So lots of love there for Filomena. And who else? Anyone? Any other latecomers in the chat this morning? I think a lot of people talking to each other. Man Cave, of course. Tonight it's Friday. Do join them at 10 o'clock tonight, being all irreverent and naughty like a bunch of 12-year-olds. Hairy 12-year-olds. That's what they're. Hairy beer-drinking 12-year-olds tonight. It doesn't really sell it. Andy, Raphael, Garbo, Pete, you could do better than me on that, can't you? Carl, I am going to have to teach you the proper usage of the Italian finger. You so are, Raphael. I'm open to that. I don't want to be getting myself in trouble. My daughter, middle daughter, Gloria, she speaks Italian. She's doing a degree in Italian. Bless her. Amazing. So proud of her for doing that, for learning Italian, living over there in Bologna. I really like practice Portuguese. Yes, Rui and Joel, YouTube channel. They are now on TAP Portugal Entertainment Channels. That's a great idea, isn't it? So one could learn Portuguese while flying to Portugal. Good move, you guys. Thanks. Off for a great weekend. Walking the dog now. Have a good weekend. Sorry to miss last night, says Jeff. Got caught up at work. I'm so sorry to hear that message. If you recall the question, not at all, Jeff. No, I think there may be others reaching out to you today, possibly about that. But don't you worry. No, if work calls, and we'll see you next week. Afterlife sees Afterlife. Oh, okay, with Ricky Gervais. Yeah. 3 starts today on Netflix. Yeah, I did enjoy that. I'm not a big fan of Ricky Gervais, funnily enough, but he's very good in that, isn't he? And some marvelous script writing, and it's very touching, very touching. Cool. Bologna was almost around the corner from where I used to live. She is enjoying her time there, notwithstanding the challenges and restrictions, of course, in Italy at the moment, as there are in so many places. Hopefully, we'll be seeing the back of those soon, folks. Have a great weekend. You've been very, very good this morning. Look at this, 10:20. Have a superb weekend. And we'll see you on Monday, and maybe for a feel-good Portugal show with Mrs. M tomorrow, Saturday. Have fun. Take care. Bye for now. And, enjoy. Squeeze every drop of juice out of life this weekend, won't you? Have a good one. Bye for now. Oh, I nearly played the wrong video of me running semi-naked along the beach. You don't want to see that.